Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grumler.
Wolverine.
We're analyzing the programming for the affiliate, online, individual.
Keep going. How many more words can you get in there?
TQ plus.
Penalty onslaught.
That'll get a Reddit thread going. I guess I had on Susan the other day. Fine. Like, I'm not used to that. All right. Sorry we're late. I had an awesome call. I do work. I do work for a living. But I was on a call with a guy. His name's James. He's wanting to open an affiliate. He's in Texas. And it's just so refreshing to talk to people who are like genuinely like wanting to like be a part of this. It's nice.
Did you ask him what made him want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because especially now, I get really interested about when people say that they want to do it, because it is totally a different reason, I think, or at least there's a lot more things that people have to deal with.
I feel like
what up,
Alan? If it's you,
really,
how many episodes of Jeopardy did you win or lose?
Yeah, good one.
I don't trust any of these.
I don't either.
I don't trust any of these.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Down's probably in a hotel in Indianapolis, just like waiting and just passing the time.
But what was his reason? Like, why?
Well, funny enough is that he's always athletic, competitive, loved working out. And then he was just like at home on the couch and the CrossFit Games came on ESPN.
What?
And he's like, this is awesome. And
wait, how long ago was that? How long ago?
This is 17, 18.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like now this happened.
Yeah, Barclay, we also know it's you. That's why I call you Barclay. Because you're the fake Barclay.
Barclay, Dale.
Yeah, so you want more Jeopardy. All right. You get us some more sponsors, and I'll give you guys some more Jeopardy. But he's like, and then after that, I consumed every piece of content that CrossFit ever created. All the documentaries, all the Road to the Games, and he's like, and then I joined a gym. I was like, oh, funny. How funny is that? Funny. Dallin, let's see. It was rigged. Okay. That is you. What's up, dude? That's still by far, outside of episode 1, which was like an hour and a half long show when these things really should be 30 minutes. It was like
learning curve.
Was it you, Taylor, and Tyler?
Yeah.
And it was just an utter disaster. But it was hilarious. But that episode with Dallin, Tudor, and who else is on there? That was the best episode. Because that was when we did the Who's That Pokemon category.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, test question. And I took the big black guy in the bed.
Yes, I remember.
It was Dallin that guessed it. We do need to bring that back. Dallin, good luck this weekend.
Good luck, dude.
Don't hurt yourself. That shit doesn't matter in the long run. You need to be the fittest man on earth, which I think I voted for. All right, let's just talk about online semis. I know I'm late. I will be, after this, immediately following this, those of you guys that watching, was it Kotler?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's right. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Immediately following this, I want to be on Beyond the Whiteboard on Coffee Pods and Wads, where I'm taking on Colton Mertens and Adrian Munweiler
for nice, dude.
Ultimate dominance of the show. So if you guys are watching and we end the show, you don't have to do anything because we will take you directly there. So just sit there and be like, that grade sucks. And then boom, Coffee Pods and Wads is here. And Chase hasn't moved. Changed his hat or his shirt. This is a game shirt. You guys kiss my ass. Was it Kotler maybe? I talked to Kotler today.
Is he good?
He's a good dude.
He is a good dude. Is he good?
It's got a lot going on.
Dude.
Yeah.
I could only imagine.
That man's got a lot going on.
So I can only imagine.
Love that guy. It's a good dude. If I could have a coach.
Dude, he's the guy.
Kotler would be my coach.
Yep.
Because I love the intense, passionate, like tear in your face. Like that's my, And I don't want the, hey, it's okay, we're okay, casual. Like, no, I want you to like call me a motherfucker in the middle of my event, like something.
That's
Like,
what it is, and that's a part. Like he's the one that always messes me up whenever it's the pick the best coach of the year, because I never go coach of the year like the coach that gets all the winners necessarily. It's like, who do I think is the best coach that year? And I like a coach, and I always have a coach that will live and die with you.
yeah.
Like they ride
I'm
that
not saying
ride
the other
with you.
ones don't,
I
but
I
Justin does.
Yeah, 100%. I've never seen anyone ride the way that he rides. Like if the athlete is down, I mean, he'll do what he needs to do, but then you see him in the corner crying too. Like 'cause
Yeah.
he's like, it's like he just lost.
Yeah.
And I have been brought up with coaches like that, and so I have a strong affinity to coaches that way.
We had our strength and conditioning coach in high school. So I swam and played water polo in high school, for those of you that never watched the show before. But our dry land coach, which is what we just said, anything out of the pool, was an ex-Navy SEAL. And I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him. We're like doing all this core work, and he's like, what are you looking at to be abs for, Chase? Huh? Actually, he called me Ingram. You think that shit's going to grow back in 15 minutes of abs? It's like, all right. And then I sit there and I was like, scissor kicking on the pool deck. I'll show you, Navy SEAL. And he was right every time. All right, folks. Let's get into it. Analyze programming. If you guys haven't been here before, we have changed the format. Everybody starts with a 10.0. We give event-by-event deductions, looking at it in a silo. Could be little things, movement selections. Like, I don't know why we did push jerks, and then we came back around, and then we did like strict press, and now we came out, or whatever, right? Little deductions, 0.1. 0.5, more of a major. 1.0 is you really got to screw something up in a particular event. I think we've only given maybe 2 of those. And at the end of each individual event, we look at the overall competition. We get on the more creative side, event order, modalities, everything. We look at all of this and we put it together, and then you get a grade. So let's look at event number 1. AMRAP in 15 minutes. 3 muscle ups, 3 back squats at 275 and 185. Weight choices, well done. 30-foot handstand walk, 15 feet out, 15 feet back. Add 3 reps of the muscle ups and back squats each round. Moderate time domain. If you're not classic CrossFit, this is in the programming discussion, is couplets and triplets is where CrossFit is. That moderate time frame, 10 to 15 minute range, that's just sweet spot CrossFit. Now, CrossFit competition, a little bit different. However, sweet spot CrossFit, that's what we're talking about. It's an online competition. It doesn't need to be sexy visually, just needs to be effective physically. Oh, I like that.
That was good, dude. Is
that
accidental?
That was totally accidental.
Write that down.
Anybody write that down?
Write that down. Yeah.
I had my gym members there like, we're making a book of your quips. I was like, burn that book. Because that book started in like 2009. And, that was just a different political landscape and social construct landscape back then. Another time. Volume, moderate. I mean, athletes were getting what? 8 into the 18 and possibly 21.
Yeah.
And so you get to 15, that's 45 reps. You get to 18, there's 63. You get to 21. Like, that many back squats and that many muscle ups at that weight and that difficult skill, that's a moderate volume. The weight's moderate, it's 275, but the volume gets tough. Movement patterns, we got the pull and the press for the gymnastics portion of muscle ups. Obviously got the back squat and the handstand walk. Handstand walk didn't change. However, it didn't help anybody because the fatiguing element of that made muscle ups harder. Back squats are fatiguing on your shoulders, just being in that position. There's a reason why hand release push-ups are very difficult, because that contraction of your shoulder blades, which contribute to more difficulty in the press. Now you do that with the rings, and now you go back to the bar. I feel like the shoulders were just getting destroyed in 3 different ways.
I like that it was on on paper, it looked like a active recovery, especially for like your top athletes.
Yeah, we
it's an
talked about that a little bit.
It's an active recovery. Let me ask you this: do you think that it would have changed the event if they just took the handstand walk out, or how much do you think it would have changed the event?
I think it would have made the people who suck at muscle ups better.
Because you don't have that little extra.
Right.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I love this event.
Dude, fantastic.
This is my favorite one of the entire 5.
Without a doubt.
Right. And I'd be terrible at it. Just saying. I'll be terrible at it. But I liked it. Yeah, I don't think it would. I think it would help the people who are bad at high volume muscle ups.
Do you think it was a check in the box if we got handstand walks in there, rather than like really trying to assess?
Honestly, I think it's a check in the box of inverted gymnastics because we didn't really have very much in.
I think that too. I think that it didn't really matter necessarily, but it was needed. It was a needed thing to check the box.
Yeah.
It was, which I think is important.
And the other thing is this,
you need to have, imagine what numbers these athletes would have gotten into if they didn't have that handstand walk on 15 minutes. Like you would have probably had to bring the time down to like 12, or like even like, I don't know, 12 minutes.
Yep.
Because of you just don't
have
the
back and forth
in there. Yeah.
So I liked it.
I liked it. I
have nothing. I have nothing.
Nothing. 10 points. Congratulations.
You guys are still at a 10.
Great job.
Still at a 10. Look at, see, we're not evil. Event number 2 is 20 down to 2, dumbbell overhead walking lunges, GHD sit-ups, 2 dumbbells at 70 and 50. Time cap was 20. Some needed it. Some definitely didn't need it. Your top 10 average time was 10 to 11 minutes on average. So still a moderate time frame. Volume is high considering the difficulty of the movement that you were doing, right? It's 100, what is it? 100 or 220 total reps.
Yeah.
GHD, obviously not as much, but those lunges at steps, like that was tough. And that overhead, like that was just tough, right? The weight's moderate, but it was still heavy. Weightlifting and gymnastics again. No monostructural just yet. Seeing videos of it, this was a tough test. Like this was almost one of those inside the gym, outside the box tests that you would see maybe at the CrossFit Games.
I'd agree with that.
Right? It's like, hey, we're not going to go throw a sandbag over a wall or a hay bale or something unique, but this was just like, hey, you know those 2 dumbbells you always do one down, one up with? Well, you're doing them both up. And they can't touch. And you're doing steps, and we're coupling it with something that's only going to make it more difficult the more fatigued you get. Yes, we're descending the reps so the intensity can stay high. Maybe towards the later rounds, it becomes a transition game. Mm-hmm. But for the difficulty of what this was in semifinals, I enjoyed this one too. Would I've liked to seen maybe distance instead of steps? Yes, I'm not a steps guy for lunges. I'm a distance guy. It offsets the two, like the reason why muscle ups and back squats were so cool because it was 2 different ends of the spectrum. Gymnastics guy, strength guy, which more often than not is little guy, big guy. Mm-hmm. When you do GHD sit-ups, the range of motion isn't that bad, right? But the smaller person's going to be quicker. It's just body weight moving in space. And then when you do steps, or distance is supposed to offset maybe who that person is. Well, if I can't move as fast, say, on this gymnastics movement, which most of the time any gymnastics movement is size dependent, regardless of fitness, if fitness is the same. Well, if I do steps on the lunges, guess what? That advantage now comes back to me if I'm the bigger, taller athlete. Now I can cover more ground in less steps. Well, if I do steps, well, now I'm covering more ground with more steps.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And so that's a small thing. I don't know how you feel about that.
I would rather I think we talk about this a lot of times, that if you have an event that's solely moved to one type of athlete, then I think that you're doing a disservice to the people that are racing. Granted, there are always going to be mechanical advantages to a particular movement, but if you double down on one person's, like if you go rowing and wall balls, okay,
Big
well,
guy, yeah.
yeah, it's like then the little guy's like, all right, well, this is just purely damage control. Where you have the complete ability to do that. And we even talked about numbers last time about what the steps would be, what the distances would need to be, whether the lengths or laps or whatever. I think that is worthy of a deduction. I would say a 0.1 for that for sure.
That's what I had as far as like distance for steps.
Yeah. I would actually put another deduction on here for either, and I'm not sure. I like it. To me, it like kind of bothers me on both sides with the dumbbell touching thing. Like, okay, what are you really testing? Are you testing? Can you balance all this up in space for a certain amount of time, and that's why you're having them not being allowed to be held together? Or do you want to see if they have a shoulder overhead position they can just support weight overhead while doing the lunge? Like,
Yeah.
do we really care? Yes, it does make it easier if you can put them together.
Sure.
But really, like, who cares?
Right.
Who really cares? I think that makes it tough. One, for the athletes, because then they really don't know what's going to happen penalty wise until after they do it, until after the fact. And then the other thing is that I think because of the transition, you have all the bulk of the work done in like the first 3 sets.
Right.
I would have rather had it be that you start with 20 to 2 on one, and the other one goes 2 to 20.
Right.
So that you double up on the work on the one side, and then it's not pure transition when you get to the end.
I would be okay adding that in as a 0.1er.
Right. And that's all I'm talking about. That's
but as far as the touching thing, I feel like that was after seeing it all. That was a big concern going in.
Yeah.
I feel like that was almost a non-issue coming out.
Well, again though, like, and I'm not saying that it. Yeah, I just want the standard to be written.
I would say.
I mean, same thing with the GHD, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, if you're talking range of motion.
Okay, that's fair. I was gonna say GHD standards, but like that doesn't mean don't ever program GHDs. But
no, hell no. Do program. All you have to do is say what you want.
Please enforce it. Yeah. Let's say gray. Is that the right gray, or is it GAR? GRAY.
I think you're right there.
What's the difference?
I don't know. One's from the USA, the other one's from the UK. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I like the event. I really like the event. I think it's an appropriate event. I just think that there were things that made the event, like all of a sudden now I'm thinking about all these other things rather than.
Okay, well, what about the rep scheme? Because in my head, a 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5 takes the transition game out of it once you get to 10, right? You have the same number of transitions. So 30, what am I doing? 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 6. You have 6 transitions that entire workout. You have 5 in the last 5.
Right.
In the last 30 reps, you have 5 transitions.
I mean, I'm fine with that too. I that's what I mean. Like, I think that and again, this is a 0.1 thing.
A 0.1 thing, right? But it's
because again, what are you testing?
Thing, right?
I don't think that we're testing transition. Anytime we've had a race that's been a transitional race where that's the race.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we're not testing fitness when we're testing transitions.
Correct.
And I mean, geez, if that would be the case, then I'd rather them just gone 20 to 10.
Yeah.
And stop there.
Yeah. All right. I think that's fair.
Again, 0.1.
0.1. Yeah, not a 0.5. Right?
I mean, you still got a 9.7 right now.
Okay. Oh, did I go the wrong way? That's supposed to be heavy, Isabel. DC sit-ups, walking lunge. Did I do this twice? Did I go backwards?
I don't know if we made it past that.
What's happening? Hold on. Son of a gun. All right. Here, 2, 3. What did I do? Okay.
There it is.
Huh. Anyway, Heavy Isabel. You want to skip to the end?
Yeah.
All right. Skip to the end. Deductions. Heavy Isabel. 0.
0.
All right. Let me see. Yeah, I must have like copy and pasted 3 times. Sometimes I just.
Well, when you have, more events that we'll be doing that on too,
True. All right. None there. Agreed. So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good. All right. Individual workout 4. Now, we had a big, long discussion last week about the
shuffle run.
Shuffle runs in terms of the fact that Bill hates it. 2, he didn't think it was like worthy of it. 3, we thought he totally underestimated how long it would take. And then we found out
why
later. He's like, Bill had the same mistake about 50 people did on the leaderboard where he thought it was lengths, not laps.
Well, I programmed lengths. That's what it was. And so that's why that was in my head. So I was just thinking that. But yeah, if you misread the word or don't understand the difference between length and laps, you're going to have a problem on this.
Yes. All right. So it was 5 intervals of 2 minutes with a 1-minute rest. It was a 10-lap shuttle run, which took about a minute to a minute 5 for most athletes that I saw. 10 clean and jerks at 135 and 85, and then max lateral burpees over the bar. In the time remaining, short time frame, low volume, even if you add it all up together. Lightweight, high intensity. I think this was the most painful one people talked about. Just if you looked at them afterwards.
Yeah.
The shuttle run is one of those. Power clean, push jerk, burpee, your 3 movements. Very intense event. The barbell is back in play. Is burpees of the bar. You have your first monostructural, which is the shuttle run. That said, now looking at it, the first 0.1 I'd give right off the bat is the weights between men and women.
Yeah.
That's my first one. That said, someone had said this last week. I still don't agree with it, but I was curious to see what the outcome would be. It's like, they lessen the weight of the women so that they could get more burpees or comparable burpees to the men. Which I was like, well, I don't really understand that because the women are predominantly stronger with handling barbell cycling with the loading that's programmed. The shuttle run. There's really not as much of an advantage there for the men, and burpees are burpees. But your top men did more burpees on average than your top women did.
And I get that, but who cares? Like, the women are competing against the women. The object isn't to have the men and the women get the exact same score necessarily. You want the same response. And I think that the same response happened or would happen if you had 135, 95. Plus, these are elite level athletes. To remotely think that they would be less than 135, 95 for grace is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, right. It's
like
that. Grace.
It's great.
Grace is one. Yeah, that's all that needs to be said.
Like, there's just that was a mistake.
Right.
Not to say that I don't like the event, because that's a 0.1 mistake. Like, that was a mistake on the event.
And it's a interval based test. It's for max reps. It's technically an AMRAP. We had an AMRAP in event 1. Now we have an AMRAP in event 4. Just setting the table for a later discussion.
Right.
I still, even after watching it, could you have gamed this to do a better score for yourself at your fitness level? Yes, we heard everything underneath the sun is like, do 3 rounds hard, just get 1 burpee in the 4th, and then bring it back hard on the 5th. Or jog the shuttle runs, hammer the clean and jerks, and do max burpees. Like, when you say all of those things, that's great. That's you strategizing this event. If you wanted to make the games, I don't think you could mess around with any piece of this, right? You need to max, like if you could get 5 seconds faster and you've already touch and go the clean and jerks, and the only place you'll be able to do that now is the shuttle run, like I'm not as down on it as I was concerned going into it after seeing what these athletes did.
If you want to win, and the unique thing about this event compared to some of the in-person qualifiers is it isn't that you have 3 named athletes. You got a lot of named athletes that are going head to head. So you can't afford to go easy. Like
Right.
if I wanted to try, and I think that was a great point that you made, that if you want to try to get your possible best score for you based on your fitness level, like if I was to do it, I would not be able to go throttle down on all these. There's no way. I would be smashed. All of the stuff that we were talking about in the locker room about like how you go, round 1 hard, then you take the next one easy, go hard the third,
Right.
take the next and then go hard, or however way you want to do it. That's so that you are able, you as an individual. And I like the fact that like, okay, here's a race. Don't tell me how to win.
Yes.
I will win. I have the full range to do whatever I want. When all they want, like the output, all I care about is how many burpees did you get? I don't give a shit how you did all the other stuff. And that, I think, makes this event really, really fun because you have someone like Dallin. He's going to have his particular strengths and weaknesses that he's going to have to battle.
Right.
Versus someone like Colton, versus someone like a dark horse that's coming in that wants to make a name for themselves, that no one really knows who they are, but they're like, okay, I'm this one guy. I'm freakily good at like Grace. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then here's your shot to do something. You get to utilize that to see how many burpees you can get. And I think that makes, I love races when there isn't a keys to success. It's like your keys to success. It's so individualized, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think, obviously I'm not at the caliber of athletes are now. But if I were to look at all 5 of these lined up, this is the one that jumps off the page where I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Right.
I don't, and this is the one I think
no one's bad at any of these things.
No, you're not.
That's the problem.
And we said not only is it like an AMRAP format, but it's also burpees, which always can be done. You just don't want to keep doing them. And then you're like worried about, well, what did that round of burpees going to do for the next round of burpees? Or is it going to mess up my clean and jerk? Am I running too fast? I feel like there was so much, not only is this shitty from an intensity standpoint, but this is also shitty from a stress standpoint of execution. Because if I overdo it one round, like say somewhere between 1 and 3, if I mess up one of those, I mess up my entire event. And now I'm going to have to repeat this and just go through hell for 2 more reps, which are actually worth it. Yeah. Especially at the top of the, like 2 more reps, depending on where you're at in the leaderboard, the 10, 15 spots. Right. And so this is the one where you're just like, damn, I don't want to do this twice, but you might have to.
Yeah. God, gross.
Yeah. JR, down strength was pacing round 1 appropriately.
See, and that, again, that is a strength. Knowing your body and knowing what you can take or what you need to do that you can push that exactly, stay that tempo the entire time.
Do you have anything else on this one?
No.
The weight thing is, after seeing it, I was like, all right, we'll see. But watching people's videos, I'm like, damn.
Well, no, because I don't think it would have changed the outcome. To me, it's like it doesn't. Okay, we're CrossFit.
Right.
We have a named workout called Grace, which is clean and jerks 135 and 95. Never do we do 135 and 85. For clean and jerks like that, especially for athletes that are trying to get to the games, ever. So I just think that's like us saying, okay, we're going to program Fran and we're going to actually call it Fran because I just want to change the letter.
Yeah.
Like, just say what it is, man. It's 135.95. It is that. Just, is it going to be any different? Not really, but there was no reason not to have it.
Yeah. We're sending people to the games.
Yeah, games.
Send people to the games.
We just did
225 and 155 snatches.
Yeah, don't act like they
Pretty
can't
sure
do it.
135 and 95 clean and jerks would be okay.
Oh, man.
Ooh, Dallin. He's like, I went from 14 reps and a no rep to 9 reps on the last.
Wow.
Oh, and here's why I like where this event is. And those are the things you learn, right? I should have done 12 across, right? And if you did 12 across to start, maybe you could have done 14 on the last round.
Yeah.
Right? But those are the things you learn, but you don't want to do it again.
No. I mean, in the self-awareness to be able to do something like that is massive. You really need to know your body to be able to go through all these things.
Do this one first when we said what order?
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah.
I'll do it first and then I'll do it last. And then by round 3, I'll either know if I'm on pace or I'm off, and then I'll just stop. But this one is really necessary because we had the grinder ascending rep, attrition workout 1. We just had the mud crawl shit fest of GHDs and lunges in event 2, heavy Isabel, okay, whatever. But now here it's like short, intense, interval, yuck.
Yep.
So I really like, and just for all the things that we said on this, it's funny is that we just give it a 0.1. All right, final event, 30-minute AMRAP. If you're keeping score at home, folks, that's 3 AMRAPs. Now, it is online, but 1,000-meter row, 30 toes to bar, 6 rope climbs, 30 minutes. As long and crappy as this one probably was, after watching it, I was like, man, is this just a toes to bar workout?
Right.
Yeah, the rope climbs are going to get affected by the toes to bar. You'll also be affected by the row because you've been pulling on a rower for 4 minutes. But it just looked like after, watching, just like toes to bar. You just came back to it. And you're like, damn it.
Well, okay. I mean, if you're doing like 4 rounds, depending how many rounds you're doing, 4 rounds, even getting into the 5th round.
I basically did the opposite of what Dallin did.
Right. If 30 times 5.
Jason started at 17.
Oh, dang, dude.
Finished at 8.
That right there is the classic like ego kid that comes into CrossFit for the first time.
Oh, that
kills everyone. Like you never win round 1.
I bet that was the hardest. And I know you guys did Firestorm at the games. That had been the hardest 8 burpees of his life.
Oh my gosh.
17.
Dude, that's wild.
Lord.
But I think the rope climbs, I just don't think those would have been that bad. I mean, relative to the other pieces.
Right. Like, all right, I'm just not going to go. There's no reason to go fast. Just don't waste your time.
Right.
Be efficient with your climbs, but it's not a sprint.
You're not going to fail out on the row, and you're not going to fail out on the rope climbs. The toes to bar, you're going to hit that fatigue. I mean, like, okay, they can all do 100, but like for most people like that, it's like, oh, I'm great at 50. Like all of a sudden it gets a 60 and I suck. Well, these are like you're getting well over 100.
Yeah. And Dallin, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah.
Next time we'll just bring you on the show. Confirm is a grip. Yeah, that's all I heard. Grip. Because
not a breathing issue. No, there is no breathing at all.
And the reason is like there's no point to row. There's no reason to sprint on any of those.
Dallin, what was your pace on the row?
But your hands don't get a break anywhere in this event. Not on the row, because you usually row at the ends of your fingers anyway, so that's already grippy. Now you're on the rig. Regardless if you're using grips or not, you're still hanging there. It still taxes your forearms, even though it might not hurt your hands.
Yeah.
But then when you do the rope climb, now your hands are more involved. You're more tensed. Like, it was just all that. So, all right. This is 5 events. These are all the things that we've used equipment-wise, movement pattern-wise, weightlifting, decent balance. Gymnastic patterns are evenly split, but they're not evenly distributed as far as use. It's like, yes, we had a press because of the muscle up, and we had a press because of the burpee, and we had a press because of the handstand walk, but the pull that we had involved was way more than the press. So even though the numbers work out, is that way heavy on the gymnastics pulling than any of the pressing. Even like the weightlifting. Held most 152. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's just cruising. That's awesome.
Good. Not easy to hang on to, but good. Now we had this discussion, and this goes into a bit what Jason, or what Dallin is talking about, is like other programmers in the space, JR. I'm not a big distance guy on the row in competition like this. In a workout, hey, we're just working out. Right? In a competition, I'd rather see cals. There's more bang for your buck there. Right? A 152 is probably like a 1,200 meter pace. But you're going to get more bang for your buck holding that than you would to the person that's doing a 150. Right? Because if you're holding a 1,200 and the other person's holding 1,100, like you're going to finish 10, 15 seconds ahead of them. It's on an exponential curve of more bang for your buck. So we said this last time. I'd much rather see a 60 cal row, 30 toes to bar, 6 rope climbs. Let me just take out the fact that this is the devil's number, but 60 cal row, 10 wall walks, and 6 rope climbs. We needed a inverted gymnastics pressing movement to matter in a program, the event, that only the pulling mattered. And even more so, it wasn't even the pulling that mattered, it was just grip. And we didn't get that. We didn't get that in the open. Mm-mm. And we didn't get that in semifinals. Like these athletes that are going to the CrossFit Games have not been vetted with high volume or high skill inverted gymnastics pressing. And I don't see why we had toes to bar when we just did GHD sit-ups. Like, why are we doing 2 core flexion gymnastics movements? When we're already pulling on the row, you're hanging and pulling on the toes to bar, and you're pulling on, toes to bar did not need to be in there. That should have been an inverted press. If anything, it should have been a shouldered overhead with a weightlifting.
That would have been better.
Because now you have the best of all 3. We don't have a single event that has all. No, yeah, we do. We just did an event 4. Whoops. But yeah. So I would say programming wise in this particular, I can't really say that because I'm looking back. Mm-hmm. I give it a 0.1 because I would have rather seen some type of inverted press in here, or any press in here, specifically where the toes bar at.
But are you talking about, are you judging that overall all the events, or are you talking about this particular event? So like in this event right here, by itself. Right. What's wrong with this event by itself? Other than it's an online competition, so you should go for calories rather than I'm down. I would take 1.1 off that.
I'll do 0.1 for the calories and meters. And then yes, I guess
because as it is.
And Steven, you're right. Yes, it is interference. It's a JT-esque interference style for 30 minutes. But it's not a movement pattern interference. Right? Like there's interference that's effective. Like JT is interference because you have pressing interference in 3 different planes. Here, it's grip interference.
Right.
And when I look at grip interference, that's not movement pattern interference. That's not programmed fitness movement interference where it's like, it's not an actual pull. It's I can't hold on to the rope. Like, it's not a fitness interference. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like this interference relative to if it was more movement pattern interference. But that's just, I'm not even taking anything off of that. I'm just.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. And I agree. I don't think it should be taken off for that. Like I don't have a problem with it being a grip intensive event. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is that like this is a race where you're not out of breath, and that's rare. You know what I mean? So so you have to have some sort of a fatiguing point somewhere, which is either going to be you're going to fatigue at your midline doing that many toes to bar, or you're going to fatigue at your grip because your grip is going to be under load for 30 minutes, which I'm okay with. By itself, I agree with the calories to meters. I agree with that.
Right.
But what it is, I'm okay with it. Yeah. Now we blend that with other things. That's when it gets different.
Okay. All right. So let's get to it. The little rehash. 1 single modality, 1 couplet, 3 triplets, 2 monostructural, 5 weightlifting, 6 gymnastics, 1 light, 2 moderate, 1 heavy. All good. 2 low volume, 2 moderate, 1 high. 2 short, 2 moderate, 1 long. That's classic CrossFit realm, right? That's where you want to live. I like that. Looking more at the movement patterns: muscle up, handstand walk, Jichi sit up, burpee, toes to bar, rope climb, 6 different ones, 2 in the monostructural. 6 movement patterns tested in the weightlifting department, 4 in the gymnastics. Okay. Overhead, overhead, overhead. Same. Weightlifting. All right. Now, as far as what we've seen so far, this is the lowest individual event deductions we have ever had so far. And it's a total of 0.5. So right now, we're sitting at a 9.5.
Yep.
And we like these when we just previewed them. So let's go big picture now. First one that we're just belaboring, the lack of testing of inverted gymnastic pressing. We didn't have that in the open. We had burpees. Okay. We had pull-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, bar muscle-ups at smaller, higher intensity, but smaller volume.
Small numbers, yeah.
And we just did sets of 5 wall walks at a time.
Let me ask you this. Because we had wall walks in the open, leaving the needing a press. We have the lightweight clean and jerk, so we are going overhead for 50 reps on that.
The dumbbell overhead lunges.
The dumbbell over. It's
right.
static.
So
that's
ball
a
in the
static hold.
Position. Yeah.
That's static hold. What if you were to do a set of either wall facing or just not even wall facing? It could be whatever. Strict handstand push-ups for the event 1 instead of the handstand walks.
Make it 60 cal row, 12 or 18 wall facing handstand push-ups, and then 6 rope climbs. It's the games. We had wall facing handstand push-ups in quarterfinals.
Right. And I think that
or make it a barbell or some type of weightlifting movement.
You know what? The toes to bar should be the first thing that gets taken out because of all the GHC that we did.
Right.
That should be the first thing that gets
double
taken
up
out.
the same
exact movement
in gymnastics.
Basically.
Yeah, different.
And if you take that out, then that would be the spot to put in a pressing movement. So you don't have to take out the handstand walk on the first one, even though I think that you could. I still think, yeah. So it would have to be something decent weight though. Oh no, yeah, the handstand push-ups, the wall facing handstand push-ups. Yeah,
handstand push-ups. Yeah,
I like it. 6, yeah. So make it. What'd you say? 12?
I said 18.
Okay.
Look, 30 toes to bar. Let's call it a minute to a minute and a half. Being very generous here, but that's going to get. That goes quick for 30. 18 wall facing handstand push-ups. Now for me, that's why it's a 30-minute AMRAP. I'm going to need that time.
Yeah.
But how many, like these guys and girls now, that is going to go faster than anything. Front tucks for time. I'm glad it's some, not all.
I would say that's a large. We were talking about like incorrect movements for a 0.5.
I have that as a 0.5.
I would have a 0.5 on that. Yeah, and lack of any sort of pressing, like pressing. There's only one that we're really pressing, the clean and jerks, and that's not enough, I don't believe. So I think that you have to have a higher volume of. If you're going to go gymnastic press, that's fine. Make it a strict. You're good there.
Yeah.
that and the fact that we doubled up with such high volume on the midline with the GHC and the toes bar. Like that's like doing thrusters and then doing wall balls.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it, that to me, that doesn't make any sense really.
Yeah.
So yeah, 0.5 on that.
Yeah. People were far more conscious when they did the GHDs and the toes bar compared to any other workout. Okay. Yeah. Real Methy, we've answered this several times. So if you haven't listened,
it's there.
Please listen. Okay.
Press for time.
No,
Press for time so we can get Chase over to the next, next competition.
Yeah. Go back and listen. I'm tired of explaining that to you. Okay. 0.5 there. How do you feel about 3 AMRAPs?
I don't have as much of a problem with it on an online competition because you aren't going to be having somebody do more work than someone else, where that's going to affect them in like a 3-day competition, true 3-day competition.
Okay.
I'm not overly concerned with that necessarily.
Now, my 0.5, we wrap that in the toes bar. Are you going to add any of like a lack of a certain thing? Or are we just wrapping that all into one? Hey, we lack some here, and this is where you could have fixed it. Is that, you consider that all just kind of 1.5 fix?
No, I would say that would be 2.5s, where we doubled up on a high volume. If it wasn't as high volume, I don't think I would see it as much as a 0.5. The toes bar GHC, that's a 0.5.
A lack of things tested. All right, like.
Okay. Yeah.
We tested heavy barbell cycling. We tested light barbell cycling. We tested light burpees over the bar. We tested intervals. We tested stamina and back squats. We tested stamina and high volume muscle ups. Like, what we did not test is any type of gymnastics inverted pressing movement.
None.
Including the open.
Right. So I mean, I would do a 0.5 for each of those myself. I mean, we're still a phenomenal score right now.
That's all I have.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that is a.
And honestly, and that's pretty picky.
Yeah,
I think.
Okay, so this is a, what do you call an 8? Is that a B plus?
Yeah.
Or a B?
That would be a B. Yeah, 8.9 or 8.8 or
strong B, not a B plus.
That's a hell yeah, dude.
Good job.
Coming off of all the things that we have seen up to this point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we said, is it as good as we think it is, or it's just because of the other shit that we've seen it compared to? So that, like, our original was like, oh my gosh, we finally did it.
Oh yeah, is this like the ugly skinny girl been in a room with fat girls?
Right.
No, I think they did a good job.
Well, that is a good job.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
All right, guys, gotta bounce. Pedro's show is on now. I'm already late. Don't go anywhere. As we sign off, it'll take you right to it. Happy Wednesday. Good luck to everybody this weekend at the French Throwdown.
Yep.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.